that, like you said, they're not backing down. I don't see anybody backing down in this.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah. So I know you say you like to agree, but I don't think you can suppress this generation. Gen Z, they're a tough cookie to crack. As in, how do they say it?
Man, honestly, I've not heard of people that they've chased away and come back in the middle of the night to cast their votes.
Exactly. But they did that.
E for energy.
But they did that. They did that.
They got injured. They went, dressed up their wounds, came back to cast their votes.
So it's like watching NSAS happen all over again, but not with the miscreants part. We don't have. These are not hoodlums. These are Nigerians who watched the Obasanjo regime, who watched the governor Goodluck. I said governor. He was governor of Bayelsa. Say President Goodluck Jonathan regime, who have watched President Buhari regime. Administration. You get what I'm trying to say? And so they've seen it all in the last 20 years.
What are you saying? People have seen it all. We've seen what the people that we stepped back for, they're the ones in the government, they're the ones voting, that generation that were older, they're the ones, and now we're like, no, they were not really doing a great job. No, we're taking this back. We're taking it back.
Okay, so today we want to start a conversation around small business owners in Nigeria, because before, business owners didn't used to come out and vote. When you talk about voter apathy, they were part of that class of people who say, I beg, I've been working from January to December. Today on election day, I'll rather sit down at home. I won't come out and vote. Voter apathy. They did
till today, I heard quite a few before the elections, actually.
Yes. And so, how do you even...
And especially, like you said, business owners.
Business owners. And you know why we're talking about this? Because today is 7th of March. It's called National Be Heard Day. And it encourages businesses across the country to make their presence known. But I did not feel... two things happened yesterday. Okay, one happened day before yesterday, and one Haja Eftika mentioned today. Someone had called her, asking for a job. The person says, look, there's no naira, there's no means of, I don't have a job, I want a job. Now, walking towards the presidential elections, business owners did not have money. Even when the money was available, what can you even buy with what is available? Do you understand? And so we did not hear their voices in this election. I did not hear anybody saying, oh, I'm coming to vote because I want something for my businesses. No, we're focused totally on the young people.
Let me tell you what these business people said. They were like, why will I go out to cast my vote? I've heard from two people. These were people that do not really big businesses, but their own small little businesses that they used to survive.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm staying at home. Yeah. No matter who we put in, nothing is going to happen.
Exactly.
We will continue how we have been. So can you imagine, like, honestly, false hope kills people more than anything.
Yeah.
So you just like to keep your mind streamlined to what you've already known. And continue it even after the elections.
And I feel like business owners, why they feel that way, that they don't need to come out and vote, it's like they feel like they're not depending on the government for jobs.
Exactly. Yes,
and all that. They are doing their own thing. They are doing their business.
So Nigeria teaches you to be an independent person. You get your light, you pay for your light, you pay for water, you tie your roads, you fix it when it's bad. So you are like a government unto yourself.
So they want to keep in that mind frame. And it's so sad because a lot of business owners did think their frame of mind would change, because seeing the reports of outcome of the election have really proven what some of these people have been saying. Like I started. Man, being hopeful and receiving a hopeless news is the worst thing that could happen to you. You wish you remained where you were. So a lot of these business owners just want their mind to remain where they are. Let them not even hope that anybody will help them, anything will make things better. They've been hustling. Let them continue hustling like that.
Yeah. Don't come and
without thinking of it. Promise and fail.
That is it. So, but either way, I really, it's like you said, a business owner is not waiting for whatever the government says. It is you are the, what's that word now? You're the judge, jury, executioner of your business.
Like I remember back then when I was working in a fashion house, so it was Independence Day. Normally I won't say anything, but because that day was actually my friend's birthday, so I was. Before that day, she said that we'll go on break on that day. When it was approaching now, she was busy talking about what we would do on that day. So I was like, today that day is Independence Day. She said, hey, what did government do for her?
Exactly.
Why would I be
Exactly. So
like, why would she observe independence? Like, I was.
it enter you.
So it enter me. So that's the mindset they all have. Like, government is not doing anything for them. So what's their business with elections and all that?
Okay, so if you just tuned in, you're wondering what is going on again. Every day seems to be about election topics. But just today is the 7th day of March, and it is called National Behead Day. And Nigerian youths have made a point. I hear the president-elect actually even said, Nigerian youths, I hear you loud and clear. But there's a group of people that we have not heard anything from, and it is business owners on this matter. Today we're celebrating you. It's not an easy thing being a business owner in Nigeria. I read somewhere a while back that 50% of the businesses in America, I'm using the United States as an example, are owned by business owners. Who are these business owners? They are women. That it is women that actually hold up the economy. In Nigeria, look at itself. I'm not talking of big companies that may be producing things. Look at small business enterprises.
The sector that keeps it going.
Creating, churning out products, everyday products that we use, solving, unique problems
the food we eat.
That sector, I've always said that one day in my future, I'll go into food business. Because you know why? Till people die, they will eat. It's only when you're sick you can't eat. But every day it's either you will eat every day, except you're fasting. I don't know, but it's not everybody is fasting the whole week. Do you understand? So I'm looking forward to see. I'm speaking to the universe. The universe, you're hearing this thing. So businesses support schools. They support there's no sector where you will not find a small business person that is shocking it, in it. And so when this cash crunch thing in Nigeria right now, a lot of businesses are suffering it the most. I can't believe that it's March. From January, we've been talking about this incident and we have not seen a solution. Now the fuel queues are back. I'm unhappy. I saw double queues today. A whole lane was blocked because people
have you seen the transport prices, the surge in the transport prices?
So my friend Joy pointed, she pointed that out yesterday when she called and said, have you seen the soaring prices? They must not increase for one day and everything just soars.
Automatically.
It just soars. And it's just in the FCT because other states have fuel. Other states have fuel. The NNPC Director of Communications came out yesterday to say they have 45, what was the thing we read? Was it 45 billion? No, it can't be 45 billion. 1 billion barrels of liters, I beg your pardon. It's barrels now. What am I saying? It's barrels of fuel. And they have on the badge that they have on the sea and they have also on land for the next 45 days. Now, they say counting 45 days from February till now. That's so they have more than enough to cover for the presidential elections and to cover for which one they are? Gubernatorial elections that we're going into. You're just nodding your head. I agree. So, but the fuel queues are back in Nigeria. So please, Daku, I don't know who we can call. Honestly, it's not a very happy what they call it scenario for me right now.
I have a documentary photographer friend who was an observer during the elections, and she also took pictures of. First of all, she took pictures around local communities. She went from community to community taking picture, and there was this lady sweeping, and she took a photo of the lady sweeping and she made a caption of it. So this lady is a small business owner as well. And my friend asked her, why aren't you out to vote? She says she has her PVC, but her ward is in Wuse. Yes, and she was in, I think, the Kabusa area.
That's quite a distance.
And she was like, man, whatever money she has right now is to transport her to work to make her sales when work starts. And she's not going to use this money to transport herself to vote.
I can see that's what I said. This particular group of people, nobody's talking about them, and nobody's talking about how the cash crunch is having a dire impact on their businesses. We talk about everyday Nigerians, but we don't talk about how these everyday Nigerians get by. And that's a typical example. A lot of people who are environmental workers, I observe that, the government pays them a stipend, but they have, their own means of livelihood to get. Because if I tell you how much government pays them to sweep the highways, it's a ridiculous amount.
Do you know, actually, for the longest time, I've always thought those are my favorite government workers.
Why? Because they show
I love seeing those people. Yes!
Because they
love
show up
seeing-
every day.
I love seeing them, and they do a great job because our city is clean and beautiful. Aside from what people toss out of their cars, our street looks beautiful because of these people.
So maybe this is a good time to do CSR, to just quickly say people toss stuff out of their cars. My car is always dirty. My husband says that he cannot stay in my car. He cannot even ride in my car. You know why? I don't know how to toss things on the road. I don't know how to do it. So, but he says, please find what, he fling it out of the window. I said, no, it is somebody that will still have to go and, pick it up. So I also want to point out to your guy. Your guy mentioned something. Your guy being the gubernatorial aspirant for Labour Party in Lagos State. So one of the things he mentioned, this is me digressing now because I know all smiles.
You're talking of JRB.
Yes. Badebo Viable Roads. Yeah. So one of the things he said is that they're going to fix minimum wage, that it will be livable wages, not minimum wage. And that's so, because what we have as minimum wage right now, some people cannot, in one, what they call it, all it takes is just one illness and that thing is gone. Nigerians, they say, there's a way they put it that average Nigerians are one sickness away from poverty.
That money is just the cost of bed space.
Bed space where?
30K is the cost of bed space some people will pay.
Well,
so they haven't even started treating themselves with that 30K.
Don't even go there. Because that's a hospital. See, but we mentioned, especially this same Abuja again, it has come up in conversations. This same Abuja, there's no middle ground in Abuja. There is no middle ground. There's always there are only two extremes. It's either you're extremely comfortable or you are extremely poor.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, very extremely poor. But again, we're back to small businesses. I don't know how we can help small businesses as individuals, but do you have any tips that you can to help our small business owners in this our crunch? I had one lady insulting a boat driver yesterday. somehow we have forgotten that they are small businesses. They're the ones that help you get from place to place.
Of course.
And there are a lot of young people doing that job right now. I don't know how they are coping. There's no fuel. I don't know how, and if they don't carry passengers, how will they live? How do they make money? And that's just one sector. Schools have resumed. Their teachers, in fact, my son's school, they had to say, please, our teachers cannot come to school because this fuel scarcity is affecting them. The cash crunch is affecting them. So we don't give small businesses enough enough
light. We don't shed enough light into their own challenges as well. And they are the majority of the people carrying the society. Like a lot of things we depend on for our day-to-day, it's them. Even right here in the station, almost all our support staff are gone.
I can imagine.
Almost all our support staff don't show up again. And we can't force them to. We personally now have to do twice the work. And we can't even blame them. We can only feel even sorry for them, for the situation they are in.
So we see you small business owners. That's why Perspectives is here. We talk about pretty much anything, right? We're giving you a platform. Yes?
On Midday with Mina, we actually talked about pros and cons of starting a business.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So this is quite coincidental. We actually did not plan this.
Yeah.
So, but okay, go on.
Yeah, pros and cons of starting a business. If you should be a sole proprietorship or if you should get into a partnership business, and what it entails when you get into a partnership business, and what it entails when you do stuff by yourself.
Theoretically,
as well.
though.
Yeah.
We're talking theoretically because I have a few points. I know. Have you tried to set up a business with your friend or a partner? Have you tried to do that in Nigeria?
What's your take on that? You think it's not?
I think my friend taught me something. I don't know if you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I saw it, but I never got to.
Okay, so he talked about 4 quadrants. About how you are an employee, how you bring, the income cycle. He tried to explain it to me. He said, look, when you are in a partnership with someone starting a business, one person is the brains, one person is the brawn. There's somebody that does the heavy lifting, and so that when people share the revenue formula in the business, it cannot be equal because there's somebody that let's say a poultry business. You are just the financier. You say you want to invest in a poultry business, but there's somebody that has to go and source out for the food. There's someone that has to source out for the feed. Do you think that even if you're the one providing the money, do you think that you will get, because you are the financier, you will get more?
They both can't do without each other.
Exactly. So you see, that's with me now. That's again, we're looking at it practically.
Yeah.
So there's the side where you're starting a business with someone. Can you trust the person? Did you guys talk about?
We did, yeah. So my guest actually suggested 2 things for when you're starting up a business, whether it is you're doing it by yourself, and we were not only talking theoretically actually. Bamidele Lobson is vast, like his experience
I
in the
could tell
business industry.
Young, chappy, excited.
Yeah. He's quite experienced in the business industry, and he was talking of, and he actually manages a couple of business brands as well. So he said, first thing, whether you're doing a partnership or a sole proprietorship business, the first thing you should do is you have to do your research.
Absolutely.
You have to do your research and find out what works. When you are now finally working with someone else, you also have to do your research on how to work with someone else.
Yeah.
But he advised that, like you have said now, two people want to start a business. But he advised that, if you want to start a business on your own, before even looking at partnership, this is what you should do. Once you research on your business, make sure you structure it. You have to be everything in your business for a start to be able to structure it. You have to be the HR, the manager, the person handling the books, and once you do that and you find your own structure, then you can get into a partnership. And you know why? This is a very unique method of approach for us here in Nigerians, and that's what I like about Bamidele that came. And I say he talks from experience. It's a very unique approach for Africans because he took into consideration how people can be.
Our mentality,
how people can be.
That is our mindset.
And why he largely encouraged that, even if you're starting off alone, even if you want to do it alone, you have to break out into actually getting a partner or hiring people on. Why he suggested the need for having other people on board is because he has seen a situation whereby you start a business within this year. Even some people that have even managed to onboard other people but don't know how to work with people. You see them doing everything, and it's like a sole proprietorship all over it. You see them doing everything, and they find out 1 year later they are still on the same spot.
So I want you to hold that thought, because there's a conversation we want to have some other day about how we don't have businesses that transcend generations because of this. I
told him, they can't go multinational. They can't go international.
How many can you even count in Nigeria?
They can't go international.
Hold that thought. I want us to talk about it when we come back from this commercial break. We'll be right back.
This call to prayer is sponsored by the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Things are not the same. Things are not the same as before. No. Things are not the same. No. Things are not the same as before.
We're 10 for 10 on the Perspective. I was going to say on the request show. On Perspective this afternoon, we have 10 minutes till 1 p.m. when we bring you a news at the top of the hour. In the meantime, we've been talking about today, the 7th day of March, which is celebrated as National Be Heard Day. When I first heard Be Heard, I was wondering, Nigeria, the Gen Z people are already saying our voices are loud and clear. In fact, they were making fun of DSS in Nigeria just yesterday, saying, you know what? If this is your way of stifling our words, you can't do it. We are Gen Z and no holding us down. So I've had Mina and Muna in the studio this afternoon. Yes, the girls are back. But I'd love to hear back from you. Yeah, if you're a business owner especially, I would really like to know how Nigeria has been treating you. Yeah, daily Nigerians, we know what it's like, you know. But it would be nice to hear from you as a small business owner. And so when I'm talking about small business owners in Nigeria, let me describe, the category before I go to Mina, because I said, you have to hold that thought. We have to have this conversation today. So if you sell food and drinks, right? If you are a photographer, she mentioned a photographer. If you run a fitness center, my friend impressed me. Sorry, I had to quickly say this. I just admire him on WhatsApp. He used to be a real estate person, but recently, I think early this year, he set up his own fitness outfit here in Nigeria. And a few days ago, he put up about how one big insurance company is giving health insurance to some of his gym members, right? Have you ever registered to go to a gym before? Any one of you? Do you have a gym? Is it what they call it? Gym?
Gym membership.
Gym membership. Yeah. Do you have a gym membership?
Not right now, no.
Okay, but have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Really? You're bold though. Because it just never occurs to me. Honestly. So I often
love to
commend
work
people
out.
who actually, so it's not often when you hear of gyms, you're thinking of a very big place with space. You don't think that it's one person that actually set it up as a business. So but watching him do it, in fact one of these days I'll invite him to the studios to have, men are not allowed on our table. But yes, Mina can have this conversation with him. Yeah. Okay, so I digress, right? So if you own a fitness center, you own a gym, you are definitely a small business owner. Do we have music stores anymore? I don't think so. We used to back in this music, right? We don't have anybody.
Oh no.
Yeah, we don't have any one of those things anymore.
We don't.
But if you sell equipment, maybe sporting goods, you sell shoes, you sell trainers, they're on Instagram, plenty like that. Or you sell clothing. It's a few years ago I noticed a lot of people selling gym outfits. If you enter Guarimpa, you see them displaying it everywhere because everybody is a fitness guru. Yeah. So if you sell jewelry, well, maybe it's the costume jewelry, not the heavy gold. I'm not talking of the hair. So, for the expensive ones, anybody that sells gold right now is a big business owner in my own eyes. What do you say? So if you also have a salon, a hair salon where you fix hair, because that's the small business owner that I knew. We've always known those ones from childhood, right? And what else again? Of course, as many business owners in Nigeria, we have suya business, food business, cholera joint. Sorry, I did not say that. You know, why are you giving me the eye? So those are business owners, and we, on a day like this, we give them voice, we give them platform. I wish I could have gotten my friend to come in. My friend actually bakes, she cooks, you know, but she's not feeling so well. She was the person. If I was going to give her, I was going to put a call through to her. We can actually still. I'd just like to hear from her as a business owner. So, but you were saying something before we went on that break that Bamidele said about we don't have businesses that.
That grow multinational or international as well.
Okay, so it has occurred to you before. Why do you think Nigeria? Because we, like you said, sole proprietorship. You are the chairman, CEO, COO of your business.
It's the quality of the workforce we have in Nigeria.
Okay, we're unemployable, or what?
Yeah, our employability strengths are really low, very very low. He gave an example. I'm just remembering. He gave an example of a screenshot he saw that someone advertised for a job online, and somebody else messaged him and said, it said something like hey or something. He said the job, and the employer was like, okay, something, and he was, are you here to apply for the job I posted? And the guy replied and was like, of course, if not, why would I be sending you a message?
My goodness, that is a Gen Z or Gen Alpha.
He did say it was, he did relate it to the fact that people are studying how to employ, people are studying the work culture of Gen Zs. But I don't think, that is not a Gen Z. That's not a Gen Z work culture. That's just an ignorant person.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is that this is the vast majority of Nigerians. That's how they think. That's how they feel. I mean, people that worship the civil service, and that's their goal. That's where they want to be.
I guess our generation doesn't talk like that. Anybody? I don't think anybody aspires to go work in the civil service anymore.
Okay, but
honestly, I've never.
Like I said, a vast majority of Nigerians do aspire to, and we know what the civil service work ethic and structure could be like. So, and you imagine somebody, he will message you the job. They will do that. Because that's the work ethic they have. A lot of people have grown up seeing, and even the small business owners we're talking to, a lot of them don't know what customer service is. They don't even know the impact of some strategies in businesses that could help them.
Oh my word!
They are just doing their business and living from pay to pay. If they knew better strategies, their businesses would be better. If some of them knew how to behave better, their businesses would be better. If some of them knew better managerial practices, even some people that have grown big, you find out they get somewhere where they lack something, managerial strategies. So even the people that transition from the normal people that don't talk like this guy, they also have problems because we haven't seen a good structure of what a multinational or an international business could look like. The closest is, like I told Bamidele, tech companies now. We know what they do with the pay rise. We know how they make their staff feel really good, and they pay them really well to be comfortable. I feel like maybe that's the sort of strategy or structure GRV is talking about when he means we're going to pay people livable wages, not minimum wages. So in entirety, our work ethic, our labor, no matter what GRV does, all we just hope is that the people of Lagos see somebody to embody. Somebody to look up to and say we should work like this. And our work ethic needs to change. And I feel like that will start with better leaders, better examples.
You have just hit the nail on the head, honestly, because I think we're still going to go back to that matter. I think this political season is raising up a lot of questions about the quality of leadership that we have in Nigeria. And I think we've always said it here that Nigeria's problem is not an economical problem. Sorry, it's almost as if I say it every day. It's not a political problem, but it's our mind. If we can fix here, we can pretty much fix everything. And it starts with the people who we look up to, who are our role models. GRV seems to be like the perfect guy for Nigeria right now because he appeals to a certain generation who are still teachable. our parents are still set in their ways, and so they believe all the WhatsApp messages that they're forwarding. Oh, he's Igbo. Then we hide behind those sentiments. We don't want to fix the problems that are actually the problems. How can you have someone come to work in the morning, and she's come to the office, she sees her boss, she has just oh, good morning, sir, and then you go and sit down. Hey, what you go and ask the boss, like, what's the next? Oh, sir,
how can I help? How can I help, sir?
Help?
Where can I be useful? How can I make a difference today?
Oh my God!
Even if I spend 3 hours at work, I can put a smile on 10 people's faces in those 3 hours.
Absolutely. So that's the conversation we're having. We're going to read the news on the hour now, but we'd love to hear back from you. That's what, especially small business owners, please. It's been nice to really hear back from you today. 0818-2222-206, 0818-2222-205. We have to go on that break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Mina. Thank you so much, Muna. You always just make my day.
Citizen FM Abuja. Now we be the voice of the people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Citizen FM Abuja. Now we be the voice of the people.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Time for news on the hour.
It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon, and thanks for staying with us here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Here's the news on the hour. The Federal Capital Territory Administration Monday in Abuja reiterated its commitment to address the health challenge, improve welfare and well-being of senior citizens in the nation's capital. Sani Amar, Director Social Welfare Services Department for the FCT, stated this during a one-day reach-out sensitization workshop for older persons held at the Karun Majigi community in Abuja Municipal Area Council. The outreach was organized by the FCTA in conjunction with the National Senior Citizens Center, FCT Stakeholders Consultative Forum, to commemorate the World Hearing Day 2023. Amar reveals that the FCT Health and Human Services Secretariat is working assiduously to ensure the inclusion and the integration of senior citizens into the FCT Health insurance. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission says few Nigerians have agreed to return home from Tunisia. In a statement Monday, the NIADCOM chairperson, Abike Dabirewa, said Asari Aloti, Nigeria's ambassador to Tunisia, is consulting with the Nigerian community on evacuation decisions. This development comes after Kais Saied, Tunisia's president, had in a meeting of his country's National Security Council on February 21st, called for urgent measures against sub-Saharan migrants. Side urged security forces to halt illegal immigration and described the migrants as influx as a conspiracy to change Tunisia's democratic makeup. Meanwhile, the news agency of Nigeria reports that the Tunisian president has denounced making racist comments and pointed to the possible legal consequences for perpetrators of racial acts. Brazil's Justice Minister asked federal police Monday to investigate reports that ex-president Jair Bolsonaro tried to illegally import jewelry worth $3.2 million gifted by Saudi Arabia as tax officials prove a second present of jewels. The far-right former president has faced mounting questions over the jewels since newspaper Estado de Sal reported on Friday that customs officers blocked an aid to the former Mines and Energy Minister Bento Albuquerque from bringing them into Brazil without paying the required import duty after an official trip in October 2021. Former President Jair Bolsonaro has denied any wrongdoing. China's Foreign Minister Qin Gang has called for peace talks on war in Ukraine to be promptly resumed as he blamed an invincible hand for the protraction and escalation of the year-old conflict. He said the process of peace talks should begin as soon as possible and the legitimate security concerns of all parties should be respected. Qin said the conflict in Ukraine, which began with a Russian invasion on February 24th last year, is an eruption of the problems built up in security governance of Europe. And that's the Citizen FM News on R. I'm Rayo Omotoso. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. This is to inform the general public that the holy month of Ramadan, the month of impactful rewards, and the month of blessings is here again. Therefore, we beseech Muslim faithfuls to sponsor our Ramadan programs such as Call to Prayers, Tafsir Quran, Qira'atul Quran, Ramadan Talks, Women of Jannah, Paradise, specially designed for the Muslimah, Children's Program for our young upcoming Ustaz, Dawn Program, Sahur Special, live on Citizen FM, and many more. Allah says, who will loan Allah a beautiful loan on earth, and Allah will build a house for him or her in Jannah. Talk to us today. Please call 0806 397 7823, 0812 0043990, or 0817 3964218. Let's partner to make it a Ramadan to remember.
So Nigeria's boys to men, I wonder where they are right now. And today is not this.
Two of them left.
Yeah, Tunde and Zil.
So,
yeah, Zil. Funny, they're all in Abuja, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nice to they formed a big part of my life in university.
Yeah, they're Abuja artists.
Yes. Tunde was the body, the light-skinned one. Then Mekoyo, Sonky.
Zil was my fave.
Zil is the Gen Z of the team now.
Zil was my fave.
Zil is the one that joined later on.
Oh,
so he's the style plus. He's the plus.
Oh, he's a plus.
He's the plus. Yes. So it is Sonky, Tunde, L was who now?
Which
I think
one of them passed away?
Yemi. The style STYL. Yes. Oh, I can't. As in Nigeria, we've churned out good products.
Beautiful group. Beautiful group.
Honestly, they were just. In fact, when I played this song, I was thinking of another song. Actually, I didn't realize. Okay, I'm playing.
Oh, you played
else.
another one.
You know, in my head, Mashe Fimisile Lai Lai. So, but this song is actually titled Mashe, and it's different from Olufumi.
From Olufumi.
Yes. All right. So we digress, but we just had
What's
to.
the meaning of Mashe?
Mashe, don't leave me. Don't. Mashe is don't. Yes. Okay. Don't see me feeling like
you teach us more. I love the Yoruba language. I'm not gonna lie.
Yoruba people are
we have people like Ashake giving us what we don't understand. We have to learn it. We got to learn it.
Oh my goodness! If I tell you that the Ashake guy is just growing on me because in my house, my husband will not let me hear one.
Oh,
Joe.
All of us so understand Yoruba because of that. You know, and this just makes me so sad with all the like bigotry statesmen, tribalism going on around, and it's just so sad. Like people often say, what's your own business with Lagos? What's your own business with this place, that place? Well, maybe it's unfortunate because I haven't traveled to a lot of states, but certainly I've traveled to Lagos, and personally, Lagos is my own holiday destination. I got stakes in that place.
Okay, so what about you? What's your take on that? On the arguments?
Me, I don't.
You are neutral.
I've never gone to Lagos, so I don't know.
Hell, we have to change that this year.
No, but can you see when Nigeria becomes accessible to everybody, that you know you can use a small amount to travel to Lagos, or it doesn't take you that long, or there are various options to reach different parts of Nigeria. Trust me, some of us will just pack our bags one day and just be going to places. The other day, well, I knew some Igbo people some Igalas were from places in Igbo lands. Like I think I know of Enugu, but I just found out there's somewhere in Anambra as well that have Igala people that are demographically located there, and also Jukun people.
Exactly.
And I was like, ooh, Nigeria is such a beautiful country.
I can't remember if it was Awolowo that said that Nigeria is a geographical geographical entity. That in the first place that you just drew a map. And physically, it did not matter to you whether there were people living in all these places. You just drew a map and cut out and then created states and said, okay, you belong here, you belong here, you belong
without
here.
Without proper research.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think this if we go back to our history, again, if it always comes back to that eventually, that if we have studied our history, if we teach it in schools, from generation to generation, some of this ethnic bigotry will not see. You understand? Yeah, if there are Igbos in Igala, there are Igbos, there are Igalas in Igbo land.
And there are also Igbos in Igala land.
You understand? So it's the same. Like my friend, when you mention the Adamawa beats now, when you mention Jukun, they are border towns. So there's no how that they won't spill over. Somehow, one state is bordering this on the southern side, or another state is bordering. So you will have an influx of people who speak, you know, or you can hear something in somebody's language that is similar to
there are even some languages that have just been meshed together.
Exactly.
From something. So I don't think, like, you know, them joined lines and putting us together was the issue.
You know, so we can have this conversation.
For another
I believe
time.
that Nigeria, we don't have there's nobody's
we're not
going anywhere.
taught how to coexist.
That is it. So
we were not shown how to coexist.
We are not the only ethically
multi
it's a long word. Multi-ethnic, diverse country in the world. We often refer to India. I don't know why I like using India as an example. India has a lot of issues. Their caste system, everybody talks about their caste system, but nobody talks about how the fact they have different languages in India, they have different religions in India, but they all
1 billion people.
Exactly, but
we are complaining about 200 million here.
But they all coexist. And it is recognized in their constitution. Nigerian constitution only recognizes Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. It is wrong.
And do you know, in India, regardless of it being recognized, this constitution you're speaking of and these Indians, do you know who have empowered the constitution? The Indian themselves. That thing could be, because of how large India is, something could be in the constitution and they could be doing a whole other thing. So for you to control things is very hard, but these people came together and said, most of us will behave ourselves together. Even with representation taught them to coexist, because they did some sort of compulsory representations that improved over time, and people became tolerant of one another.
India is only 3 years older than Nigeria. We were both colonized by the British. Yes, they were colonized. They got their independence in 1947. 3 years down the line, Nigeria says we want our independence in
60.
So how did I say that? Nigeria is only 3 years. It's not all those years. Theirs was in 1947. Ours was in 1960. So I think it's 13 years. I would say, not 3 years. So, but the thing is, we were both colonized by the same British. How come they preserved everything that is true to them? We took everything west and just put our own stuff, you know, in the background.
India did have a problem preserving their
independence. Our own independence was on a platter of gold. So maybe that's why we
off.
You know, honestly. So, but what we didn't read the fine lines of whatever agreement it is that gave us independence, because they are still actively in our country to today. And so we've lost our own identity. So like you said, I wish there was a way that the Constitution represents the Jukun people. The Constitution recognizes, different African traditional religion.
And it's people, imagine these people that were not represented, but they eventually became represented. How did they get there? That's where we are now in Nigeria, where we are telling people anybody should be able to contest. Anybody, regardless of where you're from, should be able to take up a mantle. Thank you and contest. Yes, let's rewrite our own according to what we believe in now. So you can imagine, you are telling me people were not being represented. So how did they automatically start being represented in the Constitution? People like you and I, people that were still fighting them, were fighting for their rights. There were people fighting each other. There were people focused on fighting for everybody's rights. India, 1 billion people. We are 200 and something million here.
We're just a fraction.
We're just a fraction.
Like a drop in the ocean compared
They
to
decided to come together, like you said. First of all, I didn't even know that, there were other tribes. I thought it was just a caste thing.
No.
I watch a lot of their movies. Do you know why I love Indian movies? Because they're exactly like Nigerians, but what I see in what they portray is that we are moving. We they move.
They have a
no
sense of
obstacle. We are moving.
Nationalism. There's one India. There's no one Nigeria. We don't say
we're all Indians.
Exactly. There's only one India. They don't see it as maybe you are half Indian, half anything. They don't do that.
And they don't see anywhere. And they don't see anywhere else as their land. They don't want to go anywhere else.
Exactly. They stay back home. They stay back in India to develop. How come? When someone mentioned that the top 10 CEOs in the world today, they're Indians. They say, okay, mention them. Of course, I cannot remember all of them. Of course, we started with Sundar Pichai, Google. We talked about Simon Sinek. They have
they do.
So, but the thing is, Nigeria, we're on that cusp. I think that's why I'm taking this conversation, so that we're there right now to rewrite the history of Nigeria, such that we are thinking the people first, not some fat politician somewhere first. And so to just crown it up where we started, that Nigerians are not discouraged, that young people are not discouraged. In fact, I won't take this as they'll just take this as one more stepping stone towards the goal that we want to achieve. A lot of parents are actually quite happy. Do you remember during NSAS? They were like, finally, our young ones are speaking up for what we could not speak. And so even if their generation, they fought the battle, they lost. That we are doing it. And so I encourage you. And do you remember a few years ago when everybody was going entrepreneurship? Who are the people doing
I was getting
young
there.
People. It's young people. So this revolution is young people. And it started with the sense of when you have money, the buying power. That's what gave young people independence earlier in the year. They're not waiting for one godfather somewhere to give them money.
No.
And nobody was asking, is he a woman or a man? Nobody was asking those questions. All we saw was that young people in Nigeria are very enterprising, and they're doing global businesses that from Nigeria here you are exporting to somewhere
else.
And look at how we took that energy and brought it into the political space. So imagine if we're taking the revolution, health sector.
Talking of India. What made them, I believe from everything I've seen, what made them get to where they were, crave this unity, crave this, I'm fighting for somebody in another caste, somebody in another ethnic. Honestly, it was doing business. It was just doing business. In India, they all do business in their small carcasses, their small niches.
It's like we said,
it rose the country. They saw it was building the country. So people looked around and said, no time for discrimination. We need the money. Now there's health, there's tourism, there's business, there's hair. There's so many things in India. We are not short of businesses and work.
Exactly. If you're in India, you're listening to us, shout out to you.
And we should carry our entrepreneurship that way too.
Exactly. So to buttress that point, do you remember how a few years ago we're always talking about that, how African businesses in other parts of the world, we don't employ our African people. Indians don't do that. Jews, you see the Jews, you see the Indians. If you go to any community in America, in Europe, one whole neighborhood, they are themselves. They are the ones that they buy all the real estate in that place. They employ themselves. My cousin brother, they will bring him to the UK,
and that's how they form communities.
Honestly, so that cousin brother might not, and they always have a goal. They will spend 5 years in this country. They learn everything they need to learn. They go back to India, like she had mentioned earlier on. And they talk about it that the best tech in the world is Indians now. You talk about mobile. The knowledge is Indians, and that's because they recognize they help each other grow. So Nigeria, stop fighting each other, please. what unites us is bigger than what divides us.
Way bigger.
It's way bigger. And we need the money. Do you know how big and beautiful Nigeria is? We don't have earthquakes. We don't have landslides. We don't have tsunamis. We don't have monsoons. Do you understand? We have everything we need. And so there's enough for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. And so we've done well politically. Let us raise the stakes. Please don't be discouraged. That's how we stay in this conversation. And I'm so happy, that we had this conversation today. We have to drop our anchor here.
We do. But it was glad, having this talk, having this conversation, and inspiring other people to see things from perspectives they haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's it. I'll always be pro-Nigeria, honestly. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. Please join us on the conversation tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big deal. And I know before people come and say, why do women get so many days in the year? Come and find out tomorrow why. It's important. Because I think, the theme for this year is something about accessing equality. Equity? Those two words help out. Okay. Is it equity or oh Lord, it is doing me. I must not miss it. So International Women's Day, what they call it?
2023.
Yes, 2023. So the theme for 2023 is there we go. Innovation and technology for gender. Digital innovation and technology for gender equality.
Tomorrow is Tech Talk with Mina. I wonder who we're having.
I'm curious as well. I really want to know. Please.
I need to look for I do have a few women in tech, so we're bringing them on tomorrow.
So you have a full table tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. not too much, so I don't outshine perspective.
All right, but the idea is that wherever table you find yourself on tomorrow, make sure you're accelerating equality and empowerment. That's the goal. That's because one of the questions I'm going to ask my guests, we've always been saying, women, don't talk to yourself. Drag the men into this conversation. Since men are the ones at the helm of affairs, let's ensure that it is inclusive and say, okay, let's lift women. It is even important. Women have to succeed in Nigeria. For Nigeria to succeed, women have to be on the table where the decisions have been made. So see you tomorrow on TED Talk. Tech Talk with Mina. I keep saying TED. On Tech Talk with Mina, and join us on Perspectives as well. Don't worry, it's a full house on Citizen FM, so just leave the dial on.
Just leave it on.
Don't go anywhere. So have yourselves an amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
It's another one.
Yeah.
Storm Records.
Storm Records, baby.
I'm on. She don't carry my car.
I'm on. We don't late again. No. How good? I go to him tonight.
Let's say I go enter bus.
I want y'all to my real. I let you know.
She don't even lock me
every night. I still fight. Wifeys. Wahala.
Nemo Jack, yours truly, my baby. Nemo Jack, I'm not fooling you, baby. Nemo Jack, stop stressing, stop shaking. It hurts so bad when you call me a player.
Yep. Hang on a second, let me open the door. Hi, sweetie, how was your day? Can we be happy like Bobby and Whitney? You know them, we see them on TV. I'ma get finyele, so mommy. She be at Bima, 1, 2, 3.
This love has taken its toll on
Going, gone.
The one I live for. We've been through this before. If you don't trust me no more, I suggest I walk out that door. Nemo Jack, Nemo Jack said, Nemo Jack, I'm yours forever. I'm yours truly, baby. Nemo Jack, said,
Jasmine, Alofi, and Dare.
You know, Jasmine. Nemo Jack, yours truly, my baby. Nemo Jack.